It's another new week, and that means another batch of new PlayStation 4 game releases, and I have to say, this is a pretty quiet week coming off of last week where we had Doom Eternal, the week before we had Nioh 2. This is probably the weakest day of game releases for the month. However, I still want to go over the games coming out tomorrow because there are some compelling VR titles that I think you guys should know about. There's an interesting survival horror title, and you've got some other games rounding out the lineup. We have a total of 7 games to go over, actually 8 games to go over, so without further ado, let's get right into it. And I want to start things off with Moons of Madness, a first-person story-driven cosmic horror game where the scientific exploration of Mars meets the supernatural dread of Lovecraft. This is a game that's been out on PC for a little bit, going back to October of 2019, and obviously October probably a little bit more of a timely release timetable for a horror title, but nonetheless, now it comes to PlayStation 4, and it is a pretty interesting little title. It wasn't received the best with a 69 on Metacritic, but it did have a mostly positive reception on Steam with 863 user reviews, 77% of those being positive, and actually, the more recent reviews paint an even more positive picture with 81% of those reviews being positive. The game will have you navigating a functioning Mars base in a game that uses non-fiction elements to immerse players in a believable setting, overcome obstacles using computers, electrical systems, rovers, solar panels, and more, then go beyond the outposts and explore the darker side of Mars, and you can experience the true cosmic horror with your only hope of rescuing hundreds of thousands of miles away. You will be forced to explore the real-world fears of isolation and paranoia, enhanced with supernatural elements and cosmic horror. Terrifying visions and monstrous apparitions will make you question what is real and what is not, as the very fabric of reality threatens to tear at the seams. Again, if you're into horror games, maybe not a game you'll pick up day one, however, definitely one to keep on your wish list and pick it up sometime down the line, maybe somewhere closer to October when it would be a more timely of a playthrough. Next up, we have Element Space. It's set in the year 2199, and you'll assemble an elite crew and make allies to combat a shadowy organization threatening the future of humanity. Face overwhelming odds with strategy, make your choices, and save the world from extinction. This is a game that is definitely going to give you vibes of a title like XCOM, and it touts an intriguing non-linear story with multiple endings. Step into the shoes of Captain Pythium after being framed for a terrorist attack. Follow him on a journey to clear his name and expose a terrible genocidal conspiracy. Easy to learn and hard to master turn-based battles, facing overwhelming odds and break through their ranks. Use your wits and uncover lots of powerful skill combos to get the mission done. The game also touts unique characters to recruit, travel the galaxy, and recruit companions. Each one of them comes with a unique skill set, story, and unlockable items, and fight the way you want. Deck out your crew with unlockable weapons and perks trees of your choice. Adjust your party to your own playstyle. Another title that was released as an indie game back on PC February of 2019. Got a mixed reception, 164 Steam user reviews on that one. However, if you're into strategy, action RPGs, I think this is one that's going to be up your alley. Was released at $24.99. Probably would be wise to wait for a sale on this one, maybe south of $15, and then it would be a good pickup, but nonetheless, it is out on PS4 tomorrow. Next up, here's a really cool game, Dagger Idara. Dagger Idara is a retro-style platformer with animal-like characters, graphics, and soundtrack designed with old portable games in mind, down to the limited color ranges and sprite sizes. Now, let me say this right off the bat, that if you're expecting a game with a lot of technical nuance and incredible visuals, this is obviously not the game for you. It was designed with old-school pixel graphics in mind, and even more so than a Super Nintendo style game, this is harkening back to old Game Boy Color games and things like that. In the game, you play as Bones, a samurai dog with plenty of moves familiar to platforming fans. Perform double jumps, slice bullets in half, and finish off enemies with special combos. Fight through 8 different stages with different challenges and enemies, from slippery ice to motorcycle rides across the desert. Defeat powerful bosses with unique attacks and movesets, retro graphics and sound inspired by action platformers from the 90s, compatible with game controllers for a more authentic experience. And it's just a very charming game, given that it was released on PC back in May of 2019, got a 100% positive reception based on 20 user reviews, and released at a $9.99 budget price point. If you're a fan of older titles, this is a game definitely to be on the lookout for, and I know a lot of you guys are very nostalgic with Game Boy Color platformers, and Dagger Idara definitely has ambiances of that, and it's going to be a title you enjoy, and you play as a freaking dog samurai. That's already cool enough, and that's worth a playthrough on its own. Next up, we have Duelist, the Dark Call, another game that's definitely old school and retro in design and its visuals. The old gods have forgotten this land. No one could save our people when darkness started spreading and collecting human souls for its army. Duelist is a classic exploration action game inspired by Ghosts and Goblins, Demon's Crest, and Castlevania. That probably means the game is going to be rather challenging. Destructoid actually scored the title a 9 out of 10, and back in 2015 when they originally reviewed the PC version, they noted the best Castlevania game in years, and IGN also gave it a 9 out of 10, so it got some really positive reception, and it features 8 levels open to exploration, huge bosses, sharp controls, rad 8-bit graphics, thrilling atmosphere, 8+ hours of gameplay, 50+ types of enemies, and a veteran mode for those that are, you know, willing to go for the ultimate challenge. That is going to be there as well. Duelist, the Dark Call will be out on PS4 tomorrow. Next up, for Yu-Gi-Oh fans or those of you looking for a card game, you've got a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh game dropping tomorrow. Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution will be hitting the PlayStation 4 tomorrow. It touts the biggest Duelist roster yet, relive moments and duels from all of the animated series, duel against over 150 iconic duelists, including Yami Yugi, Seto Kaiba, Yami Mark, Yubel, and Soulburner. Play with the latest and official rules April 1st, 2020. From what I've heard, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Game rule set is about to get a major overhaul very soon, so in reality, this probably isn't going to be very up-to-date in just like about a month or two, I think is what it is. Play online matches with friends and other players worldwide, and there's quite a bit of content. If you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or you're nostalgic with the anime series, I feel like this is a game a lot of you guys can enjoy. I remember playing Legacy of the Duelist, the original, and going back, listening to some of the music and going through some of the older cards and going through some of the iconic duels. That was a lot of fun, and I feel like a lot of you guys can find enjoyment at the very least in that regard. Again, Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution will be out tomorrow. Next up, we have Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Now, this is a game that is supposed to set up Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2, and that'll be out later in 2020, I believe, but this is a narrative experience set in the rich universe of Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. It presents the struggle for power between two vampiric factions, the Carmelia and the Anarchs, bathed in the night lights of the Big Apple in New York City. This is a game that's obviously story-driven, so if you're expecting something with a bevy of gameplay, you're not going to get that here. However, if you want something with a quality story, and if you're excited for Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2, this is going to be something you'll definitely want to play. The game does justice to the mature themes of the World of Darkness and takes advantage of the excellent atmosphere of the source material. Now, you don't have to play the first game to enjoy this one. You can jump right in. So if you haven't played the first one, and the first one is quite old and it's pretty hard to play unless you get it on PC, I would recommend you to check this out at some point, especially because the follow-up title looks very good. So this is one that is probably going to be worth a playthrough at the very least. As we get closer to the release of Bloodlines 2, then maybe it's going to be worth a look. Alright, lastly, I do want to highlight 2 PlayStation VR titles. Both of them look quite good. First up, this is the one I'm more excited for. That is Pixel Reefs, a Paper Beast. Paper Beast looks awesome. It's a playful exploration game set in a colorful ecosystem born out of big data. Undertake a virtual journey of discovery through an immersive and poetic gameplay experience. Somewhere deep down in the vast memory of a data server, an ecosystem has emerged. Decades of lost code and forgotten algorithms have accumulated in the eddies and flows of the internet. A small bubble of life has blossomed. Paper Beast is now born. Live an epic adventure, discover a fully interactive simulated world, interact with the environment in an immersive, playful universe, and of course with PlayStation VR, it's gonna look pretty freaking gorgeous. The images that have already been released of the game look great, but actually being in that world in PlayStation VR, that is gonna be incredible. I've been touting that PlayStation VR is getting a lot of system selling, or I should say hardware selling titles, and Paper Beast looks to be another game like that. If you're into more atmospheric but at the same time playful titles, because the visual style in this is fantastic and it's got more of a colorful look, even though it looks like there are some darker areas. Some of the areas look incredibly colorful, and that is something I can completely get behind. It notes discover a fully interactive, simulated living world as well, so that's going to be great, and Paper Beast is out tomorrow. And lastly, a very notable mobile title is now making the transition to VR, and that is the Room VR, A Dark Matter. So this is a game built for VR. The British Institute of Archaeology, London, 1908. The disappearance of an esteemed Egyptologist prompts a police investigation into the unknown, explore cryptic locations, examine fantastic gadgets, and uncover an otherworldly discovery which blurs the line between reality and illusion. The Room has been incredibly well received on mobile, and now it comes to PlayStation VR, and hopefully it delivers a quality experience on that end as well. It's being done by Fireproof Games, and they're a small small independent team working in Guildford in the UK. They self-published the first game, The Room, on iPad in September of 2012, and of course, it was received very, very well, and now we have a virtual reality take on the series that will be out tomorrow. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, while you guys might think that there aren't a lot of great titles coming out tomorrow, I'm looking at games like Dagger Idara, and that game definitely has my attention. If you're a fan of Castlevania-like games, Duelist, The Dark Call might be up your alley. You've got VR titles in Paper Beast and The Room, and for your horror buffs out there, Moons of Madness is definitely going to be a game worthwhile to check out. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.